Here is a meaningful story about Buddha and the pursuit of happiness in life. The path to true happiness, a Buddha's teaching. Once upon a time, in the ancient city of Rajagaha, a young man named Ananda lived in pursuit of happiness. He was wealthy, handsome, and had everything one could desire: gold, fine clothes, and a luxurious home. Yet, despite having all the material comforts, he felt an emptiness within. He longed for something deeper, something that would bring him lasting peace. One day, he heard that the Buddha had arrived in the city. Curious about the wise teacher, Ananda decided to visit the monastery where the Buddha was staying. As he entered the peaceful grove, he saw the enlightened one sitting under a Bodhi tree surrounded by monks and villagers. His presence radiated serenity, and Ananda felt an unusual sense of calmness. Ananda approached the Buddha and bowed respectfully. "Great teacher," he said, "I have wealth, success, and a good life, but I do not feel happy. What is true happiness, and how can I attain it?" The Buddha looked at him with kind eyes and replied, "Ananda, tell me, what do you think happiness is?" Ananda thought for a moment and said, "Happiness is having wealth, good health, and the love of family and friends." The Buddha smiled gently. "These things bring temporary joy, but they are not lasting happiness. Imagine a man who builds a sandcastle by the shore. He is happy while building it, but when the tide comes, the castle is washed away, and he is left with sorrow. Similarly, wealth, youth, and relationships are impermanent. If you base your happiness on them, you will always be at the mercy of change." Ananda listened carefully, feeling a sense of realization but also confusion. "Then, how can I find happiness that does not fade?" The Buddha responded, "True happiness lies within, not in external things. It comes from contentment, wisdom, and inner peace. Let me share with you a story." The story of the lost jewel. There was once a poor man who lived in a small village. He worked hard every day but never had enough to feed his family. One day, an old monk visited his house and said, "Many years ago, a wise man hid a precious jewel in your home, but you have never searched for it. This jewel can free you from your suffering." The man was astonished. He searched his house thoroughly and, to his great joy, found the jewel hidden in a wooden box. He had lived in poverty for years, unaware that he had a treasure all along. Similarly, Ananda, within you lies the jewel of happiness. You search for it outside, but it has always been inside you. Ananda's eyes widened in understanding. "How do I find this inner jewel, Lord Buddha?" The Buddha then shared four key teachings. 1. Contentment. Do not crave what you do not have. Be grateful for what you possess, and happiness will follow. 2. Mindfulness. Live in the present moment instead of dwelling on the past or fearing the future. 3. Compassion. The more you help others, the lighter your heart becomes. True joy arises from kindness. 4. Wisdom. Understand that everything in life is temporary. Accept change, and you will not suffer. Ananda took these words to heart and began practicing mindfulness and gratitude. Slowly he felt a transformation within himself. He no longer sought happiness in material things, but in the beauty of each moment, in helping others, and in inner peace. Years later, Ananda became a wise and content man. Though his wealth remained, he was no longer attached to it. He had discovered the true happiness that the Buddha spoke of, the happiness that does not fade with time. Conclusion. True happiness is not found in riches, fame, or power. It is found in a peaceful mind, a kind heart, and the wisdom to accept life as it is. As the Buddha taught, happiness is not something we chase. It is something we awaken within ourselves. And so, Ananda learned that the key to happiness was never outside of him, it was always within.